I just had a very intense physical release, and the physical release felt very much like discharge, like a trauma discharge. There seems to be an accumulation of stress and stressors that are absorbed in the body somatically, right? It's like that line that says that our cells are a technology that turns experience into biology. And so the accumulation of micro stressors and micro traumas in our lives, it starts to build, and we become kind of like a pressure cooker. And the more the pressure cooker valve is pushed to its limits, the more we develop sort of the side effects of increased neuroticism and rumination. The accumulation of those stressors makes us more neurotic and can be catalyzing diseases of despair. It can trigger episodes of microaggression, of depression, of increased feelings of anxiety, at first at faintest quiet, but eventually a fibrillating anxiousness that you carry with you in a kind of perpetual hypervigilance. And if you don't make space for that physical release, if you do not release, if you do not discharge, the weight of the world becomes unsustainable, right? Like too much of the mundane will crush you. And I think when Dostoevsky said that all men lead lives of quiet desperation, I think he was speaking to men that have no outlet for this physical release. You know, I think that Dostoevsky was speaking to those of us that have found no spaces for discharge. When we don't have spaces for discharge, I think we become sick. I think we become ill. I think we develop pathologies. I think we become miserable. I think we become desperate. I think we become aggressive. I think we become ticking time bombs. I think we become Michael Douglas in the film Falling Down, the opening sequence as he sits there on the 405 traffic, those dead souls in their metal coffins. We become ticking time bombs. We become pressure cookers, and we become in need of an urgent intervention before we explode in a way that is not healthy. We need to find places to dissipate those stressors, to act out our inner life, to perform an exorcism of our neuroticism with a kind of release, with a kind of discharge. This is where medicine like MDMA psychotherapy can take somebody with treatment-resistant PTSD and make them shake and heal their grief through discharge, through trauma release, through somatic trauma release. I had an experience under the water today, I guess from the suspension of the sense of having to stand, you know, floating in the water with my eyes closed, being taken for a ride was immediately, it gave rise to profound discharge and profound release. I felt myself purring like a cat, grunting. It was guttural, it was in the body, and I kept going involuntarily, what is that? Well, that is release. That is physical release. That something is being metabolized, dissipated, discharged. You know, it's going out through your extremities in guttural ecstasy and quaking, annihilating glory. And I find that for me, like if I don't have regular interventions of those kinds of discharges, I become a more neurotic person. I feel like I am a ticking time bomb at the precipice of disjointment. Every day I'm walking around, you know, like terrified that a schism is about to occur and I'm going to explode like Michael Douglas in Falling Down, or Jerry Maguire when he first gets fired and he says, I know what everybody's thinking, that I'm about to freak out. You know, we're all at the edge of the freak out, unless we find healthy spaces and outlets to act out our inner life and have this trauma discharge. I am a person that needs physical release, and I am a person that does not have enough physical release. I need more lovemaking in my life. I need more ego-annihilating, voluntary deaths of the ego in deep embodiment, rich embodiment, deep embodiment, rich environments, and high consequence, as Jamie Wheel says.
It's healthcare.
It's healthcare.
That is called.
It's soul care.
Yes.
Soul care. It's soul care.
And it should be promoted in
Yes.
these times we're living.
Yes.
We're living through like, pandemic. It's
Yes.
once in 100 years. Or
Yes. And most of us are like just like so wound up and so pent up and so just like heads on sticks, no embodiment, no digesting our grief, no dissipating our angst, no discharge, and no trauma release. And so we have to heal ourselves. We have to move away from being these perpetual pressure cookers at the edge of despair, living lives of quiet desperation. And we need instead to create spaces and places where we can spend evenings uttering ejaculations of amazement. Whereas once we were blind, now we can see. Oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
These are the spaces.
These are the spaces.
These are the spaces.
The beauty, the radiance, the love songs, the moments that take our breath away and make us whole again. May you find those places and spaces, friends. May you release and free the brave, reckless God that lives within you.
And we protect it.
Yes! And protect it.